Who runs the world? Girls. Welcome to BlerdOut, where there's an exciting new wave of tech innovators shaping our future and sprinkling the world of engineering with a little black magic. From one girl dad to another, I'm your host, Terrence Southern. And what are those? We all know the kiddos love the sneaks. Let's check out my kicks now. We got the Bo Jackson trainers. Bo probably still running.
Confidence, yeah. It really shouldn't be no arguments, cause you're now viewing the greatest of all time, saying I can't get better.
Since I'm a girl dad, this episode is extra special to me in hopes that one day my daughter will follow in the career path of not only her dad, but the great women that are going to be in this episode. Meet Cara Branch, award-winning chemical engineer, data scientist, and founder of the awesome nonprofit organization Black Girls Do Engineer. And Karsten Bush, who is making room and holding space as a multifaceted consultant engineer, executive committee of Los Angeles for Black Girls Do Engineer, and STEM advocate. Welcome to BlerdOut, Cara and Karsten.
Okay. Loving that sweater, by the way.
You like the sweater? Yeah, I knew that. All for you. All for you. Now you're in Fort Worth?
I'm in Houston.
And you're in Houston. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. I have to look you up next time I'm down in Houston. I got a bunch of partners down there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a great city. LA is a great city too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm in Anaheim, so it's like I have to drive to LA. But.
Okay. No, well, thank you for coming down. Yeah. I'll be in Anaheim next Thursday.
Oh, cool.
For a conference there.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Which conference is it?
ATX. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they do robots, automation, all the manufacturing stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you guys can just kind of tell me. Only 9% of women in engineering, there's only 9% of women that are go into engineering, which I realize also that there are several women who start off in the youth space. They are in engineering in programs, right? Then, I think that number's around 37%. Then they get to high school and that number goes down. And then college, it goes further down. And only 9% actually go into the career field. Like, what are you guys doing to contribute and change that dynamic there?
Yeah. So from, Black Girls Do Engineer, it's one of the things that I'm doing as starting this organization in 2019 was really to inspire girls through representation and provide exposure to them to be able to know that these careers even exist. Myself, as a youth, I come from a very small town, Port Arthur, Texas. I was raised by my mom, a single mother that was working multiple jobs to provide for me and my siblings. And that's something that I lacked from K through 12th grade, was a mentor. I didn't have a mentor myself. So with this program, it was very important for me to offer mentorship to girls in my community that shares the same experiences as me, girls that are me. To be able to learn about these careers. For me, my path was, I knew I was good in science and math, and I knew I was very smart. People had always told my mom I was very, very smart, but no one ever told my mom what her resources or options were for her smart daughter. So with Black Girls Do Engineer, I'm really just working to eliminate that and most definitely get more girls in this space.
Excellent. Anything you want to share?
Yes. Similar to Cara, I would say a lot of engineers who kind of find themselves in the career path have similar backgrounds. So you're really smart, you're good at math and science, all of that. For myself, I didn't really know what engineering was probably until my junior year. So before then, I just thought engineers worked on planes and trains, and I didn't know what was going on. But I was able to get encouragement from a physics teacher, me and my sister, who let us know, hey, this is a real career path for you. And something that he had asked us to do was go to Harvey Mudd. They had a Women in STEM event just to talk to real women engineers and pick their brains and see what they do. And that was a great opportunity for me to know what my possibilities were, not to say, oh, I can do this and I have no idea what's going on, but I can learn and ask other people and kind of get that feedback. And so now within Black Girls Do Engineer, I'm the director for our college prep and mentorship program. And it's giving me the opportunity to give back to people who look like me, young girls, young women, because I had a lot of mentors when I was in college that instilled that in me. So having the opportunity to do that is just wonderful. And I'm happy to be a part of an organization that can really help me feel fulfilled in that way.
Yes, no, the work you all are doing is extremely important, especially from a black girl's perspective. I believe I probably haven't worked with a woman in my industry in probably almost 20 years. And you know, I always say, like, I would love to see more black women or women at all, honestly, but black women, especially in the robotic space, and it's just not there from an industrial standpoint. And similar to you all, I was told to be an engineer by my math teacher because they made a lot of money, not because she knew anything about engineering, right? So we do need more mentors in that space. But you know, there's a huge disparity in, you know, the race and gender as it relates to the STEM fields. So tell me more about what Black Girls Do Engineer is doing to change that in our space.
So with Black Girls Do Engineer, our mission is to provide access, awareness, and advocate for 2 million Black American girls to go into the STEM space by the year 2050. So our program focuses just on that year, the year 2050. We're doing very futuristic approaches and hands-on activities. So our girls are doing robotics. Our girls are doing things around artificial intelligence. We focus also on aerospace. Aerospace is a very hot industry. A lot's going on in that industry. So our girls are doing projects around that. Of course, we focus on all things energy, the environment, because the youth are really big advocates about the environment, and they want to see a lot of things get better in that area. So we do things around that. And we also offer other great programs, as Karsten already mentioned. We have our college prep, our upskilling, our training, getting girls certified as early as high school, with these great things that people are doing in the industry today, such as like Azure. That's the focus of ours, to get our girls certified there coming out of high school, and things like OSHA, because those things are important as well. And we also offer financial literacy. I know one thing for me, coming from an underserved community, going into industry, managing multi-million dollar projects, that was a big scare for me. I have never seen that much money to be able to manage. So when people were giving me capital projects, talking about ROI, I had no clue what that meant. So with our financial literacy program, we're solving that. We're helping girls understand that terminology now, so that they don't have to run into things, and be able to understand how to manage their own money. Because becoming an engineer, like you mentioned, you make a lot of money. And so it's important to understand how to invest that money as well.
Excellent. And you guys have done a great job already. I mean, you have 4 active chapters right now, and you have New Orleans, Houston, and Los Angeles, correct?
Yes.
All right. And so Karsten, you serve as a mentor and lead on the executive committee for the LA chapter. Mm-hmm. What has that been like for you, and how were you introduced to Black Girls Do Engineer?
Yeah, so it's funny because the way I was introduced to Black Girls Do Engineer is the way I was introduced to Kara. So we met on Clubhouse, and nice. It was a lot of discussion with different women in STEM and women in engineering, and I had the opportunity to just learn from people and get advice in that way. So we connected, and eventually I learned about the organization. And initially I was interested just in mentorship or offering any type of support I could, but then the chapter was actually launched in LA. And so myself and my sister, she's also on the board as well, we went out to learn more about the organization, and that was kind of our first moment of, oh, this is really here, like this is happening. So fast forward, we talk, Benicia Kroom, she is our president for the chapter, we talk in an interview, and we ended up on the board. So that was kind of a quick introduction to the organization, but I just felt really excited to be a part of it, because when I was kind of new to industry, I'm still fairly new, but I wanted to find a way to give back. And I always had it in my mind, like, I would love to do some type of nonprofit work. I'd love to do something for Black women and girls. And this is literally the opportunity just presented to me. So having the opportunity to be on the board, what's surprising for me and just our group is how much change we've been able to make just within the community. And seeing people have that buy-in of, yes, this is something that we care for and we want to actually see our girls succeed and our members do well, it's really exciting. So it's fulfilling. It's just a really great experience overall. And I just like seeing their minds take shape and realizing that this is something that they can really do. And for me, I take it seriously because it is representation, especially to your point, you don't always see women in engineering and women in STEM, especially Black women in STEM. So it's just a great way to instill that inspiration into them. So I feel like a change agent, really, is what it is. So it's
And
great.
that you are. And let's talk about the change that you guys are making the impact on. Right now, you're serving over 3,000 girls in high school and college. Like, what has that experience been like for you all?
Rewarding, very busy, of course.
Of course.
Total, on average, we host about 30 events, whether that's with our members or the community a year. So we're very, very active throughout our membership year, which is October to May. But it's been fulfilling. A lot of times when people come into the event space, they always say to me, many of them say to me, I've never seen this before. So we're doing something that is really not just shaping our girls' life, but also the corporations we work with and industries. They're starting to see us as a pipeline for talent, which is going to get our girls jobs in this space and most definitely change the number of Black women in this space. I've been in industry for over 8 years. I've always been the only Black woman in all of my roles. And so for me, I always said if I can see two women in the same space in the engineering department that's Black, I feel like I'm doing my job. So we're inspiring girls. We've given them confidence. We call it our bulletproof method, so that they just fall in love with STEM as a whole and do it for the reasons I did it, because I love being an engineer. And having that passion behind it. So no matter what the obstacles are that they face in industry, they'll be ready for it.
And what's your plan to grow that number from 3,000 on forward? Like, what's the strategy for the oncoming years to grow the organization and impact more girls across the nation?
Yeah, so 2024 was definitely a national year for us. We have a lot of events planned this year in a lot of major cities. And so we're going to be able to take our efforts outside of where we are in the chapters that we have to other great large cities. So we have some events that we're working on in Atlanta. We have some events that we're working on in New York. So we'll be able to go across our great nation and do some great work and do a lot of events to reach more girls. So that's what our 2024 is looking like.
Excellent, excellent. And does the same strategy that for national, is that the plan that you all have for LA chapter as well?
I would say for LA, it's similar. So in our first year, because we just closed that out, it's really about community outreach. So getting the word out and letting people know that this is an organization that you can be a part of. And so for us, a lot of it is working with different schools. So it could be private, public, charter schools, and just giving that information to them so that they can feel comfortable coming to us. That, and for our LA chapter, we do a lot of networking events. So we had a Giving Tuesday event that we held, and we just invited different people from industry to meet the board, but also to have the opportunity to just come out and see our members and support us and understand what it is that we're doing. And it's been really fun to have those different groups come out. We've had Deloitte, Netflix, different companies come and just speak to our members about networking, about resume writing, imposter syndrome. So giving them the opportunity to speak to people that they haven't had the chance to is really great. So the more we kind of touch on those points and meet more people in industry, the word gets out. And so I just see LA specifically growing because it's definitely a great center for STEM and STEM programs. So it's a great time. We're growing.
Excellent. I love that. Karsten, advocacy and STEM and DEI are all important to you, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how are you embracing that, and how is that embedded into the programs that you guys are leading?
I appreciate, I guess, people being able to be their whole selves, their authentic selves. And so having those opportunities to present unique perspectives and have our members meet not only industry professionals, but people on the board who are also industry professionals, it's an opportunity for them to just open their mind to what they can do. And so for me, I think representation is probably the biggest piece of it that matters to me, because you go to your roles in your day-to-day job, and same to Kara's point, you might be the only Black woman. For myself, I'm the only Black woman on my team. And so you don't always see yourself, but to have girls see themselves in you really means a lot. And so I just hold that, really tight, because I want to make sure that they feel totally seen and totally heard. And through our mentorship program, that's another opportunity for them to connect with other women and other professionals who look like them. And that's an opportunity that they wouldn't have been able to have otherwise. I know for myself, I didn't really have real mentorship from other Black engineer until I went to college. And so having someone in elementary school or middle school being able to meet people is a great opportunity. So I just want to make sure I'm the best representation possible for them. And even in other workspaces, having those conversations that maybe are uncomfortable, or taking the charge and making sure that, hey, this is actually a problem that we want to solve, and we want to increase the numbers of Black women in STEM for a specific reason. It's pretty all-encompassing, but to answer your question, I just take it more personally as far as what does it mean to really represent diversity and inclusion, and how do you carry that day to day?
And are you also helping the corporations, kind of giving them some strategy to how they can improve their DEI numbers as it relates to Black women in engineering?
Not specifically with the role. So I've been with my company for like 4.5 years, and I want to say the second year I had the chance to kind of lead a division for our BRG, so a multicultural forum. And that was a good opportunity to just sit down and discuss the issues and discuss why it's important for us to take diversity and inclusion seriously. And whether or not it goes with the corporation or they kind of take hold of it, I want to make sure that I'm providing the space and the platform to have those conversations. So even if it's within Black Girls Who Engineer or anything outside of that, just making sure that I'm as open as possible so people feel comfortable having those conversations. Because you'd be surprised how many people don't really discuss diversity and inclusion as it relates to, hey, how many faces do you see? I mean, it's Black History Month. We're having a lot of conversations right now. Right. And one of the things that's pretty simple to ask someone is, how many Black friends do you have? How many Black people do you talk to on a regular basis? Just to kind of get your wheels turning. So things like that of, yeah, you see me and I'm in the field and I'm operating in this role, but realizing the magnitude of that because there's so few, I think is really important. So I just think we need to have more space for those conversations so we can get to the point of, solving what the problem is.
Well, I'm glad we're here on the BlerdOut podcast talking about it right now.
Exactly.
Yep. So, Cara, what advice would you give to young Black girls who are interested in STEM fields and, from a career perspective and an educational perspective?
Yeah. So for sure, join our program to learn more. But one thing I noticed from working with a lot of youth in school is I would inspire young Black girls to just dream. I feel like a lot of people are not dreaming anymore. We get on social media, we see these fabulous lives on YouTube, and we aim to just be that. Right. But there's so much more to life than that fancy life. You can get fulfillment in a lot of different areas and a lot of different careers. So kind of dream, ask questions if you're not familiar. Or if, for me, like when I was in high school, chemistry just clicked for me. I was just really good at it, and it scared me. I was like, oh my God, I'm really good at this and I don't know why. But ask questions. I should ask more questions of, why do I love chemistry? What can I do with chemistry? Like if you find yourself really, really loving something in school, ask those questions and then try to find a route, trying to find resources that can support you. And so Black Girls Do Engineer has been a really, really great resource, but there's a lot of great other resources. So kind of understand what you love, what your passion is, see yourself and dream. A lot of people are just not dreaming anymore.
Yeah, no, you nailed it there about they're not dreaming anymore. There definitely needs to be more dreaming and asking more questions indeed. Yeah. And Karsten, what about you? What advice would you give to the young girls who wants to go into STEM?
Yeah, I always say just believe in yourself, take a chance on yourself, and remember your why, because I think back to the time when I decided that I'm going to do engineering. This is what I want. And I was just so determined to make that happen for myself. So the way I went about it in deciding what my major would be, I just listed out, these are the different industries you can work in. This is what you need to learn in school. This is like what salary you can make. And I just made like a spreadsheet basically. And similar to Car, it was, I really like chemistry and I really like physics. So what does that mean? So getting curious enough to figure out, this is a path for me. That's how I landed on chemical engineering. But I always say, don't be afraid to take a chance on yourself, because even when I was in school and you go through really hard curriculums and hard programs, it's just, I'm doing this because I know I can do it and I believe in myself enough to try at least. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least you tried. So we should be able to encourage other Black women, Black girls to take a chance on themselves and not doubt themselves so much, because you don't always see yourself represented, and it's easy to feel like you don't belong, and you feel like, oh, this isn't for me because I'm the only one here, nobody looks like me, nobody relates to me, so what does that mean? And it happens even as a professional. I still have thoughts like that sometimes, depending on what space I'm in. If I'm the only Black woman, it's like, oh, okay, that's, not great, but it is what it is. But yeah, I just think instilling that belief in yourself first and foremost and letting that guide you is always important, because even if you have struggles and challenges and when things get hard, because they do get hard, at least you have that belief in yourself to keep you going.
Yeah. Yeah, you just said one of the things that I was thinking about is that oftentimes, we talk about innovation, we talk about these career fields in engineering, but they don't tell us how we can relate that to our culture, like something that actually means something to us, right? And we're not always in the field like, well, I'm doing it and I make a lot of money, but this doesn't really speak to me, right? And what I enjoy. The mission of BlerdOut is to turn STEM into a vibrant experience. How is Black Girls Do Engineering sharing that same sentiment in your programs?
Yeah, by making it's just fun. Like, we've done a lot of cool things that girls like to do when it comes to hands-on activities. So, we've made makeup. Girls like to wear makeup, but to make it is a whole nother thing, and that's fun for them. It kind of makes them more interested. We most definitely are for the culture. So we most definitely help them see themselves through us, because we are for the culture, and we're ourselves. We just, from an industry, I always tell people I was never allowed to be myself. What that meant for me is that I never would have wore braids or anything like that, because I had to fit in, right? Because no one was adapting to my culture. So with our program, we're making sure that they see that they can be themselves. We help them understand. To me, what I've learned is a mindset thing. You have to know that you belong at the table, whether people make you feel that you do or don't. So we help them understand that. But we have a lot of fun. We've watched them grow up with our girls. A lot of girls started with us in 2019 and still are with Black Girls Do Engineer because they love it. But I think it's just a fun space. It's just a safe space for them to be who they are. So that's how I can say we relate.
Excellent. And name a Black woman that you admire in the STEM field.
I have one. Her name's Dr. Camille Wardrope-Elaine, and she worked for NASA for 29 years, but she just retired, and now she's starting her own consulting company within the space industry. Okay. And I find it really inspiring because there are not, a lot, but there are so many Black women who are pioneers in their fields and in their spaces. And, aerospace is pretty hot right now. So having someone be that type of representation and making their own from that is really cool. But it inspires me to dream even bigger because I know I put limits on myself if I doubt myself or I feel insecure. But, sky's the limit if you believe in yourself. And there's a lot of people who are out in the field really doing it, like literal rocket scientists. Mm-hmm. So it's just nice to be able to talk to people like that, but to see them make their own space because it inspires me to do the same thing.
Yeah. And Cara?
Yeah, my person, most definitely I would have to say Paula Harris. She is the over the Astro Foundation here in Houston, but she's also have a petroleum engineering background. The way she has just been phenomenal in the oil and gas industry, and also transition into a more foundation space has encouraged me to be comfortable in what I'm doing. To be full-time into Black Girls Do Engineer was hard for me. I wake up many days being like, oh my God, I worked so hard for my degrees. Like, I most definitely should be engineering, and I've learned that I am. I'm problem solving something in my community and making it better. But to see her be able to transition into a space that I'm in now and still be phenomenal and doing great work makes me feel confident that I'm doing the right thing. So I owe a lot of her, and she serves as a great mentor to me.
And what's your favorite Black girl quote or motto that you follow leading this program?
So I have a piece of art in my office. It is most definitely a wonderful, beautiful Black woman. It hangs on my wall. And then the one was 2 words she said. Well, it's 4. I'm looking at it. It says, "Remember why you started."
Yes. Okay.
And so doing what I do, having a Black girl, a nonprofit, Black nonprofit founded in the great state of Texas is hard. But every day I'm fighting from 8 to 5 consistently for Black girls to have a chance, Black girls to be seen in this space. And it's hard. But when I look at that portrait, it reminds me of why I started, because something has to change and we have to make this better and more women need to be in this space. And also the fact that I made it and I have to give back. That's why I do it. And I have 3 daughters of my own that's going into this space. So most definitely I want them to be comfortable in this space when it's their turn. So that quote alone, "Remember why you started," is what I look at and follow every day.
Excellent. And what's the quote for you?
I had a hard time trying to pick a quote because I feel like I have so many random ones. But one thing that's been on my mind a lot more recently is impact and thinking about where is my place in the world, what am I contributing, and just who am I supposed to be. And I landed on a quote from Maya Angelou, and to paraphrase, it's, "People will forget what you said, but people will always remember how you made them feel." And I think it's really just the small actions you take, even within Black Girls Do Engineer, that to you they seem really tiny, like they don't matter, but that's still such a huge impact for somebody else to feel inspired. And even if, I'm still relatively new to industry, 4 years, and so it's still nice to be able to say that there are people who look up to you and who admire you for not just the things that you do, but for who you are as a person. And I think we should all just carry that with us to remember that the impact that you have is probably bigger than you even know. And with our members too, just seeing them grow and thrive and seeing like that light bulb go up of, oh, this is something that I contributed to and this is something that I did. And even for myself personally, just trying to grow my own platforms and just trying to be a good example for other people, it's one of those things that keeps me in check in a way where I just have to remember, okay, people are going to remember how you made them feel. It doesn't matter the flashy stuff. It doesn't matter, the things that get posted on the gram, anything like that. How did you make them feel and what impact did you have in their lives? And that's something I carry with me still, and I definitely keep that in mind as I go through this year and go through this program with Black Girls Do Engineer.
Excellent. And you're both doing a great job making these girls feel good about how they're going to move in the world going forward in the STEM and engineering. So we want to bring this to a close. I want to thank you both, Kara and Karsten, for joining us on the BlerdOut today. It's been a great conversation. I want you all to just tell everybody how they can find out more information about your program with Black Girls Do Engineer.
Yeah, most definitely by visiting our website at blackgirlsdoengineer.org, or you can email us directly at info@blackgirlsdoengineer.org. Of course, you can follow us on social media if you want to see what events are happening near you or what our chapters are up to. We have Black Girls Do Engineer is our handle, whether you're on Instagram, Meta, LinkedIn. There's a lot of great social media that we are on and that we share many, many events.
And do you have all your chapters also have social media followings as well, so they can follow you for New Orleans, Houston, and LA?
Mm-hmm.
All right, excellent. All right, that's what I like to hear. Well, no, I want to thank you ladies again, and as always, I want everybody to go out and check out the Black Girls Do Engineer. They are in LA, Houston, and New Orleans, right? And so join the movement that they're making, and let's follow on right now, so you can kind of see how you can get your young ladies involved in a wonderful and awesome STEM program built for our Black girls. With that, thank you for joining our show. It's been a pleasure. And make sure you follow the BlerdOut movement on social media and hit the like button to subscribe to our show.
Confidence, yeah. It really shouldn't be no arguments, 'cause you're now viewing the greatest of all time.